Thank you for joining me for another episode of Keeping It Real with America's Supermom. I'm excited about my next guest. We actually spend a lot of time together. We are in a room at least once a week, and then he has morning rooms, and sometimes he comes in my room. We're talking about Clubhouse, in case you guys are wondering, what are they talking about? Rooms and all this stuff. Yes, Clubhouse is it. So I'm so excited to have Sid with me today. And before we get into some great conversation, we always have these great conversations about failing forward, relationship marketing, just to name a few. But before we get into that, I want to give Sid the opportunity to introduce himself.
Well, America Supermom, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. I am Sid Meadows. I'm a business strategist and high performance coach, and I am the founder of the Amazing Entrepreneurs Club on Clubhouse, which is also a business of the same name and a podcast of the same name. And I spend the majority of my days and nights working to support entrepreneurs and their growth and the growth of their business, something that I'm really passionate about because I started my journey as an entrepreneur 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I quickly found out how hard this was.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a bumpy path that is glamorized as something that is a straight line going straight up, and there's no hills and valleys. And it is not that way. And so today I spend the majority of my time supporting entrepreneurs and helping them grow their business.
Love that. Now, so we were talking before about age, and like 50 is the new 30 or whatever. So, what is your stance on Clubhouse? I know for me, it's like, I don't know. I feel like I live there. It's a second residence. My mom's like, "Are you on Clubhouse again?" My kids are saying that. So, talk to me about your experience with it. How are you feeling about this social media platform?
It's a great question. And I will tell you, I absolutely love Clubhouse. For me, there's a couple of things about it, but for me, it came along right at the perfect time. I
Mhm.
joined in January of 2021.
Mhm.
So almost a year into it. And it came at a perfect time when I needed it, when I was looking to up level my game on a lot of different things. And I realized first, this thing can be a black hole.
Mhm.
And like 8, 10 hours later, you're like, oh my gosh, have I really spent that much time talking to people and listening to people? And so that was when I realized that I needed a strategy. And when
Mhm.
I created a strategy around Clubhouse, my world changed
Mhm.
because I understood why I was there. And the first was to
Mhm.
go and learn on topics that were important to me, like podcasting, um, like LinkedIn, two very important things to me. So to learn, to connect with other people like you,
Mhm.
to grow, like because I'm learning, I'm growing, right?
Mhm.
And then to really raise my hand and to go on stage and to communicate and to share my voice. So once I figured that strategy out, because I was like most people in the very beginning, I'd sit down in the audience and I'd lurk and I'd listen and I'd never raise my hand. Then I started raising my hand and I understood the power of Clubhouse.
Mhm.
I think Clubhouse is going through its own iteration a little
Mhm.
bit.
Mhm.
And there does appear to be um, lower attendance to rooms and to conversations than what we
Mhm.
saw months ago, but I'm okay with it. And I'm okay with it. I love the smaller rooms. I'm not a big fan of really big rooms, but
Mhm.
Clubhouse has also given me a platform to share my voice in a way that I never had the opportunity before because it's a form of public speaking. And
Mhm.
so today I host rooms every day of the week, Monday through Friday, most of them at 7 a.m. I have one room that's at 8 a.m., but most of them are at 7 a.m. And it's called the Amazing Entrepreneurs Club. And we call it our morning brew. And we have a series of conversations to support your growth as an entrepreneur and the growth of your business. And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
We
I
get
love it.
50 to 100 people that come in almost every day.
I love that. And I think, there's some element to, I call it in my room, practicing the fundamentals. If you're doing a music lesson, you got to first do your scales. And that's what I think it is because the growth that I have been able to accomplish, I believe, is just due to being in that room every day
Mhm.
talking about the most important foundational topics related to your business.
Absolutely.
So, how do you balance the portion of the learning and teaching with actually implementation, because I think one of the things with Clubhouse that could be one of those black holes you mentioned is getting so much information, but then not being able to implement it. So, how
Mhm.
do you balance that?
It's a really, really great question. How long do we have here?
I
Uh, yeah. Well, from my perspective, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go learn about things that I want to learn about.
Mhm,
So, like, I'm not going to go learn about NFTs because I'm not interested in them. Now, there might be a time that I will be interested, but right now I'm not.
mhm,
So, I go into podcasting rooms to learn about podcasting. And so, when I do, I'm taking notes, I'm listening to people. And because of that, I've implemented better podcasting gear because I'm the host of 2 podcasts. So I
mhm,
have a fancy new mic that I got earlier this year. I have the Rodecaster Pro that I got just a couple of weeks ago, but I kind of made a list. I listened and then I like, okay, these are the things I want to do. This is how I want to change my podcast. And I made a list and I started implementing little steps at a time.
mhm,
And so if I'm interested in it, then I'm going to implement it. LinkedIn is the same way. Back when the LinkedIn Club was very active, which they're not active anymore, I was there every day because I was learning so much about LinkedIn. And I got my profile reviewed. I updated my about section. And I just kind of went down my LinkedIn profile and then started making and implementing changes. So the
mhm,
important thing here is there are a lot of really smart people on Clubhouse that are sharing really amazing insights and information.
mhm. I think that is so true.
It,
I mean, every
every
day that
day.
I'm on there, I'm learning something.
But here's the thing. If you go into 5 rooms about LinkedIn, you very well may get 25 things to do, or you might get a few different opinions about what to do.
Mhm,
What I think is important is that you, Lachelle, when you've gone into your 5 LinkedIn rooms, you take away the top 3 to 5 things that resonated with you and
mhm,
implement them one step at a time, implement them, and then go back to that list. Check, test, if you will, how that worked. What was the engagement? I mean, all those things, and then come back to it later. Because if you try to do everything at one time, what's going to happen?
burnout, overwhelm.
Yes,
Mm,
yes, we're going to drown in like, oh my gosh, I got this. I'm only on number 10 and I got 30 more to go. And people give
mhm,
up. So
mhm,
don't set yourself up to that way. Is I would say don't set yourself up for failure like that. Right?
mhm,
Take
mhm.
small bite-sized steps and take away only the information that resonates with you.
Love that. I think that is so true because, it's like, just putting more kindling on a fire that's already burning rather than
Mhm.
trying to build the whole fire.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, love that. Now, so talk to us about some of the things that you've learned on your journey, with being an entrepreneur that many people, I love the analogy you said, we think that it's a straight line. You just, have success. What were some of the things that you found on your journey that really were a myth that was just kind of blown out of the water?
Oh my gosh. That's a loaded question too. Again, I'm gonna say, how much time do we have? It's like, oh my goodness. So, and it is a really, really good question because I have a mindset and a mentality of learning every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I have in my journal. What did I learn today? Because I'm always focused on learning, and I do that through reading, through podcastings, and things of that nature. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to say that one of the things that I learned the most on my journey of an entrepreneur is I got to understand and experience the greatest gift that I've been given. And that gift that I've been given is the gift of choice.
Mm-hmm.
I get to choose. I get to make the choices.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the one that's held accountable for it. I get to choose who I work with. I get to choose
Mhm,
who I don't work with. I get to choose what products or what services that we offer. I get to choose the price points of them. I
mhm,
get to choose to step into what brings me joy every day.
mm,
Just like I get to choose to shift my mindset to smile every day and to be happy and to impact someone's life. And to me, that is one of the greatest gifts that we're given is the ability to choose. Because the person that's in line at Starbucks in front of you, that's being grumpy and acting like they shouldn't be, that's
mhm,
a choice.
mhm,
That is a choice of their circumstances.
mhm,
And you don't have to choose that.
mhm,
Something bad happens to you, you can take a deep breath and ask yourself, who am I going to be today? And
Mhm.
stand up and rise up and make a choice to be that person who smiles, to be that person who makes an impact. That is the greatest learning that I've taken away from my entrepreneur journey.
That I mean, you said that very well, and I definitely have had this similar experience. So, talk to us about that moment when you were able to realize that you had that choice. Because I think, I always compare my life to when I was depressed and post depression.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was on autopilot. I didn't even have time to think, just went with it. My life and calendar consisted of what everybody else needed. So, where was that point that you actually realized you had a choice?
So I started my business in 2017,
Hmm.
and I left corporate America. And after 30 plus years of working for someone else, I had a really great reputation and I
Hmm.
was well known in my industry. And so when I started my business, it was not supporting entrepreneurs. It was, but I didn't realize it.
Hmm.
But I was supporting people that worked inside the office furniture industry, which is the industry that I had worked in the majority of my career.
Hmm.
Obviously, not the majority, all of my career until I started my own business.
Hmm.
And so I immediately raised my hand and said, hey, this is what I'm doing. We got super busy. I was like, holy, this is awesome. Right. We were doing coaching, consulting, and training and speaking. And I mean, it was really great. I was challenging myself. I was doing things I'd never done before, but we were impacting businesses and it was a lot of fun. And I had to hire somebody. And because I got too busy, which is also great, scary, and all at the same time. But one of the lessons that I learned is that you always have to keep the funnel full. You always have to keep things in the funnel.
Hmm.
And when you're the CFO, the CEO, the CMO, the chief sales officer, right? And the consultant doing the work, you forget that you have all these things to do. So um, we were working, we'd been really busy. We had been on this pursuit with this company for like 3 months.
Hmm.
And it, I mean, multiple meetings, multiple presentations, did our final presentation, got great feedback, and I was really excited. I was really excited.
Hmm.
And 2 days later, I got an email that said, hey, Sid, thanks, but we've decided not to proceed. And my heart sunk. I was like, 3 months. I spent $10,000 at least just in the pursuit.
Hmm.
And so I emailed the guy and said, hey, we're a young business. I would really appreciate any feedback that you could give us about why you chose not to move forward that would help us get better. It's a very
Hmm.
logical request, is it not?
Hmm.
So we want to get better.
Yeah.
He ghosted me. And about 2 days into that, um, I hit what I now know to be the edge of depression.
Mm.
I didn't know it then, but I was every question, Lachelle, who am I? What am I doing? Why am I doing this? I'm not good enough for the every one of those self-doubt questions I asked myself while I was laying on the floor of my office with the lights turned off with my eyes closed.
Mm.
3 days that I did that.
Wow.
3 days. Because I didn't know what was next because we had spent so much time
Mm.
pursuing this that there was nothing else in the pipeline.
Mm.
Because we were so focused on closing this deal, which I still don't know why it didn't close. He's yet to tell me. I've run into him several times. We don't talk about it.
Mhm.
And, but that was a turning point for me. And I was laying in the floor and I put in my earbuds and I started listening to a podcast. I can't even to this day remember what the podcast was,
Mhm.
but I remember laying there and I looked at I'm like, dude, what the heck are you doing? Because I would come home and put on a smiling face and, everything is great and rosy. I go back to my office, which is 3 miles down the road, and close the door and turn the lights off. Nobody knew. And because that's what you do. Right. And
Right.
so
Yeah.
I just said, dude, what are you doing? And so I said, it's time to get up, man. It's time to pick yourself up.
Mhm.
So I did. And it was at that moment in time that I learned two things. The first thing was to give myself grace,
Mm.
that when things don't go right or the way that you wanted them to go, it is okay to give yourself grace to deal with the emotions of it and the feelings of it.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
But how low am I going to let that take me is the question. And the
Mhm.
next question is, how long am I going to stay there? Give myself the grace to deal with it and
Mhm.
give myself a time period to deal with it. But today, I'll tell you, that's 30 minutes. We put our big boy pants back on and let's go. We got work to do. But that was the first thing.
Mhm.
The second thing was my probably the greater learning is what I now call this was it was a combination of reading multiple books that all this kind of came to me at one. So you know, you've had those aha moments, right?
Mhm.
And I was reading actually a Michael Hyatt book,
Mhm.
and there's something in his book, and I was listening to this podcast. There's something there that just clicked with me, and so I now do not believe in failure.
Mm.
I believe that we get the results that we wanted or the lesson that we needed.
Love that.
And and the way I discover this is by asking myself 4 questions. And the first question, when you don't get the result that you wanted, something went right. You didn't get what you wanted, but something still went right. You got a result.
Mhm.
So the first question is what went right. The
Mhm.
second question is what went wrong. Because if you didn't get the result you wanted, then something went wrong. So what went wrong? And I literally, Lachelle, I put them in a box with a
Wow.
square. I call it the 4 square.
Mhm.
And so what went right? What went wrong? The third question is what did I learn?
Mhm.
And the fourth question is, what am I going to do differently the next time?
Mm.
Because there's always a next time. It may be a little bit of a different scenario, maybe a different client, maybe a different family member. You can use those 4 square questions on anything.
Mhm.
And when I shifted my mindset to learning versus failure, the
Mm.
world changed for me.
I love that. Yeah, I'm the same way, I don't even like to use the word failure. I say feedback, because I think it's all an experiment. One thing this kind of came to me one day about medicine and law. Both of those industries, they're practicing this. So if we have that mindset, we will put them on a pedestal as experts, and they're practicing, right? At the end of the day, they're experiencing this in law and medicine every day. So I love that outlook. So, what is it that you do in your daily routine? As an entrepreneur, with just all the things that you juggle between really making it happen behind the scenes. I think that's one of the things that people don't understand. When you're working in corporate, it's like you show up, do your job, and then you can go. Now some people take their work home with them. For the most part, all the other responsibilities not on you. But as an entrepreneur, for yourself, what are some things that you do every day to keep everything in balance?
I drink lots of coffee. I do drink lots of coffee, but that's not really what I do to keep it in balance. But there are a couple of things that I do. First off, is I eat healthy and I
Mm,
drink a ton of water.
mhm,
I probably drink 130 ounces of water a day, which
mhm,
is really good because it forces me to get up.
mhm,
And so that's one thing. But the other thing is I move. So I'm taking care of my body. I'm drinking.
mhm,
I'm taking care of my health. So I'm doing all those things. Very, very important. Okay.
mhm,
But the other thing that I do that I think really helps me get all the things accomplished that I need to get accomplished is I know what's going on in my calendar. I
mm,
protect my calendar. And I use a process called block timing. So I'm a high performance coach. I'm a through Brendan Burchard and the High Performance Institute. I'm a certified high performance coach,
mhm.
and that's one of the principles that he teaches. I'd never heard of it until I became.
Yeah, look, I got my notebook right here. We about to take some notes
So
about the blocking. Yeah.
block timing is a concept of blocking time on your schedule for activities,
Mhm,
not just meetings with clients. So basically, I make an appointment with myself to check my email 3 times a day.
mm,
I do not leave my email box open on my screen all day long.
mm,
I have an appointment with my email calendar or with my email, sorry.
mhm,
And I have an appointment to read because I read for 30 minutes a day.
mm,
And I have an appointment to have lunch. Now, that may be I'm sitting here in front of my computer, but I do put it on my calendar because if I don't protect my time,
mhm,
then somebody else is going to take it because my clients
mhm,
have access to my time. So
mhm,
protecting my calendar is one of the most important things that I learned to do. But making the appointment with myself is really,
mm,
really powerful because here's the thing. Presence is what you need when you're trying to accomplish something. And how
Mhm.
do you become present? You remove all the distractions.
Mhm.
Like right now, my phone is turned off, my email is shut down. There's one tab open in my computer, and it's you. So I can be present with you. My door is closed, and
Mhm.
I can be present with you, and I can have a conversation with you. Think
Mhm.
about giving that same gift to yourself when you're checking your email. And
Mhm.
if you block time for an hour to check your email, you're probably going to get through it a lot faster than if you had it open all day long and you attempted to multitask, which really there's no such thing as multitasking,
Mhm.
but you're going to get through it a lot faster. The same thing with a project. If you're working on a project or you're doing something, let's just say you're creating social media content for your business.
Mhm.
If you block time on your calendar for an hour to create social media content, and you pop up Canva and you do all the stuff you need to do, watch how, and you're present to that. The phone is turned off and your email is turned off.
Mhm.
Imagine how much work you're actually going to get done when you're not distracted.
Mhm.
So, block timing and protecting my calendar is super important. I do the same thing with Clubhouse. The Clubhouse rooms are on my calendar because
Mhm.
there's certain things that I know that I want to attend. I pay attention to my feed about the rooms that are coming up that I really want to attend, and I put them on my calendar. And if it's not on my calendar, I don't go. Now, my
Mhm.
notifications for Clubhouse are turned off
Mhm.
because it's a distraction. We get distracted
Mhm.
so many times during the course of the day. So block timing helps you stay focused. As long as
Mhm.
you're present and remove all the distractions from around you, you can get a lot more accomplished in fewer time or less time. Okay.
I love that.
Yeah. Now, the other
Yeah.
thing I do is I plan. I spend Sunday afternoon for a couple of hours. I go through my calendar. I'm planning my week. I'm making my to-do list because we all have them. I'm
Mhm.
looking at my goals for the week. What do I want to accomplish? I do that on Sunday afternoons so that Monday mornings I am prepped and ready to go for the week.
Love that. Now, so what other tips can you give us about high performance? Because this is good.
Okay. Again, how much time do we have? No. So some of the principles of high performance are about physiology. So taking care of yourself. I talked about that, drinking
Mhm.
water, exercising.
Mhm.
This is on my calendar too, but I do it more often than it's on my calendar. I stand up about once an hour for 20 minutes
Mm.
because what happens when you stand up is you change your blood flow, you breathe differently,
Mhm.
and you feel better. You're opening your body cavity when you stand up, and there's nothing worse than sitting all day because the longer you sit, then you start kind of slumping and doing this, and then you kind of get your back hurts and all that kind of stuff. So,
Mhm.
movement and exercise is so the physiology of that.
Mhm.
Um, Psychology, another component of high performance. That's the mindset.
Mhm.
That's mindset. That is talking, and there's I am statements. They
Mhm.
are things about, you know, rather than saying something like, I can't do that, or I don't want to do that. What happens if I do that, or I get to do that?
Mhm.
Simple mindset shifts. That's all part of the psychology of high performance because
Mhm.
high performers know what they want and they know what they want and they know what they need to do in order to get it. So
Mhm.
mindset is so critical with it. But there's also other things. High performers have courage.
Mhm.
And courage is to me one of it's just one of the most important things that we can think about embracing. And I ask people all the time, my clients, and I've done this on Clubhouse before too. If you had 20 seconds of courage, what could you do?
Mhm.
What would you do? And I don't mean jump out of an airplane or, bungee jump or anything like that. But if you
Mhm.
could summon 20 seconds of courage, would you pick up the phone and call that CEO that you've been really thinking about, but you know you can help his business, but you just don't have the courage to do it? But what if you
Mhm.
did? What's possible if you embrace courage? And
Mhm.
high performers are extremely courageous. They have no fear
Mhm.
because they know the worst thing that can be said is no.
Mhm.
And if they say no, they say no.
Mhm.
But what if they say yes?
Love that. Yeah, I think, I always tell people if you don't ask, the answer is always no.
100% of the time.
And
100% of the time. Always, always.
and you're always like, it's in the back of your mind,
Mhm.
man. It's like even though people don't ask, it still bothers you. I don't
Yes.
know why they don't
Mhm.
just deal with it. There's got to be a way to get that clarity and
Mhm.
closure.
Well,
Just
you
do
just
it.
hit another word. there are two other things that I think high performers possess, and that are really, it's a lot of work.
Mhm.
It is clarity.
Mhm.
Having clarity about what you want can be hard. And
Mhm.
it's okay to sit quietly, right? To sit
Mhm.
quietly for a few minutes and to really think about it. It's okay to do vision boards. It's okay to write vision statements. In fact, you should do that, but
Mhm.
getting true clarity about what you want in any given situation. What do I
Mhm.
want out of this podcast? Right?
Mhm.
What did you want out of this podcast with me? Every
Mhm.
situation offers the opportunity for us to get clear about what our goals are. Okay,
Mhm.
what our objectives are. But vision is
Mhm.
so important. What's the vision? I can see it. I
Mhm.
can literally see what 3 years down the road looks like.
Love
Now I just
that.
gotta work my butt off to get there, but I can see it.
I love
And
that.
high performers, and part of high performance is having the ability to see into the future and to vision what your success looks like. Because if you don't know where you're going, how are you gonna get there?
Yeah, I love that. Now, so how do you foster the right environment for that vision? Because I think a lot of people, well, you said part of it with it being courage, right? Because I think we even have to have the courage to admit what our vision is.
Mhm,
So often we don't want to tell people. It's like, oh, I don't want to be held accountable or whatever. There's that doubt that's there,
mhm,
that we allow the doubt to overtake the vision.
mhm.
So for somebody who's watching and they're just like, you know what, I'm going after this in 2022, how do they get that little push to end up making that vision, more clear for them to know what to do next?
Oh, this is such a good, you asked really good questions, by the way. Really, really good questions. So here's the thing. It's your vision.
Mm,
There's no right or wrong answer
mhm,
to that question. It's your vision.
mhm,
And if you're thinking about it or you're dreaming about it, incorporate it as part of your vision.
mm,
Write it down. Like I see in 3 to 5 years, we will have a house on the beach.
mhm,
That's part of my vision board. I have a board. There's a beautiful house. We may never be able to afford that particular house, but anyways, there's a beautiful house on the beach that one day we will have a beach house. In 3 to 5 years, we'll have a beach house. So I took the vision, turned it into a goal. But what I would tell you is your vision. Don't let anybody stop you from dreaming big. Don't.
mm.
Because if you can dream big, it's possible. Just
Love
look at
it.
all the things that have happened in the world. Don't play small, play big, play out loud. If you can
Mhm.
dream it, write it down, craft out who you want to be and where you want to go because it's your vision and you don't have to share it with anybody.
Love that. Now you mentioned something key. You said you turned that vision into a goal. So
Mhm,
this is good stuff. People
mhm,
need to hear this.
mhm,
So how did they do that? Because I think a lot of people, they don't have a problem dreaming big. They don't have a problem telling some people, but
mhm,
actually where that little bit of accountability with it being a goal,
mhm.
how do we do that?
So you're talking about my favorite topic. I love goals.
Mhm.
Um, I think they're all different types of goals. To me, they're primary four types of goals.
Mhm.
The first goal is mastery. Like, what do you want to master? Think about an athlete,
Mhm.
or maybe somebody that does karate. They're never done.
Mm.
They're committed to karate. They're never done. You never master karate.
Mhm.
Mastery is a goal that has no endpoint because you keep working at it every day. So,
Mm.
like, I have a goal to master the art of coaching. How do I know I hit the finish line? I don't
Right.
because I have to keep working at it. I have to keep educating myself. I have to keep hiring coaches to help
Mhm.
me. I have to keep coaching people. I have to keep enrolling in education programs and things of that nature to master the art of coaching. Okay.
Mm. Mhm.
Now, the second type of goal is a aspirational goal. And unfortunately, this is the type of goal that most people set. Like,
Mhm.
especially this time of year, they set a goal that says, I'm going to live a healthy lifestyle in 2022.
Mhm.
It's very aspirational. It's great. How are you going to do that? Okay. Now that comes from the vision. Maybe you want to have a healthy life as in your vision, but a better goal is I want to lose 25 pounds by X date, or I want to change my diet, or I'm changing my diet to the keto diet for this
Mhm.
reason. And as a result, there's so much more you can do with it.
Mhm.
And then, but my aspirational goal is I aspire to be the sought after business strategist and coach for entrepreneurs.
Mm.
Again, how do I know that I ever accomplished that? I don't know that I accomplished it, but
Mhm.
it's something I strive for. It's something I aspire to be.
Mm.
And then the other two, it's a whole framework called MAP. The other two are performance and personal. So from a vision board, and you can look at where you want to go,
Mhm.
I knew that we wanted a beach house.
Mhm.
Okay. We want a beach house. Well, if I just say we want a beach house and we just dream it, that's great. But if we really want a beach house, we need to turn that into a goal.
Mhm.
So that goal would be we want to buy a beach house in Seaside, Florida, or the vicinity area of Seaside, Florida, because we know where we want to go
Mhm.
by June 2025.
Mhm.
Okay, so now we've made that goal, and we haven't made that goal. Okay, but that would be the structure of a goal.
Mhm.
Then I make a plan of how I'm going to do that. So by
Mhm.
2025, in order to buy a house in Seaside, Florida, I know that we need a 20% down payment. So
Mhm.
20% down payment for a second home. I'm making this up as we go along, by the way, but
Right.
I'm just give you the example.
I like this because this is, bringing it to life for you. So,
And
yeah.
then I know that in order to get that 20% deposit, I know that we need to put $500 a month in a
Mhm.
bank account for the beach house.
Mhm.
And I do that. And then in 5 years, I've got the money that I need to put a down payment on the house that we want to buy at the beach. So then I've made an action plan. So
Mhm.
I saw the vision of what we want. We wrote out a goal for it, and then we put out a plan for it. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, for my wife and I, we know we want a house at the beach. We
Mm.
set family goals this time of the year. So probably we both take the week between Christmas and New Year's off. So we'll work on our family goals then, and we'll
Mhm.
map out a plan because the beach house is becoming more and more of a reality for us.
Mm.
So now we just have to map out our plan of exactly what it is we want to do. Part of that is our kids are getting older. My daughter in college. I have a son that's a junior in high school. So now the beach house is a lot more of a reality for us. So we just need to implement a
Mhm.
plan in order to make it happen. And you can do that for something big like a beach house or something really small.
Mhm. Love
Like,
that. I mean, that was awesome. I think that is really good because I think once you have that action plan, everybody can get on board depending on, who is involved in that goal.
mhm.
It's like, hey, we're not going to do Starbucks for this month because we're going to take that extra money and put it towards the down payment. You start talking it and incorporating in your daily routine and it becomes real for you and your wife. So I
So the
love
same
it.
thing applies in business, right? When you have a business, like most entrepreneurs, they have goals, but they don't have
Mhm.
goals that are specific enough for their business. Like, well, I want to be $1 million business. Okay, well, how big is your business right now? Are you $100,000 business? When do you want to be $1 million business by? Let's take that. I want to have $1 million business, and let's break that down into a smaller goal, right? Let's
Mhm.
break that down into 5 goals because guess what happens if we set a goal to accomplish and we're going to increase our revenue by $100,000. And the
Mhm.
next goal is we're going to increase our revenue to $200,000, but we're going to increase our profit to 35.6%. Again, I'm making this up.
Mhm.
And then the next quarter, we're going to get $300,000 with a 50% profit.
Mhm.
And you check all those off. What happens?
You keep getting more goals. You're gonna need to.
But what happens up here?
Uh,
Your mind says, this is possible. You
right.
got
That's
this.
true.
You
Mhm.
totally shift your mindset because you've accomplished small incremental goals
Mm.
rather than taking a year or 2 years to accomplish some big goal. Take that
Mhm.
big, lofty goal of a multi-million-dollar business and break it down into small, bite-sized pieces because
Mhm.
it's going to keep you moving forward. It's going to give you the mindset and the momentum that you need to take one step forward in your business and your life every day.
Love that. I mean, this has been such a great conversation. I could go on forever. Okay. I mean, we've been in our rooms like it's like, oh, we're gonna close the room in a little bit. Well, wait, one more thing. But
So
I
true.
have absolutely loved this. So what is the best way for the audience to get a hold of you?
Okay, gosh, the best way to get in hold of me, LinkedIn's my favorite platform. You can find me there at Sid Meadows. Instagram, I'm at Coach Sid Meadows. But, really, if you're an entrepreneur and you're looking at ways to grow your business, I would really love it if you would head over to amazingentrepreneurs.club and connect with us there. Join our community there because we're always sharing amazing insights and value and information to help entrepreneurs grow and to help their business grow. So come hang out with us at amazingentrepreneurs.club.
Love it. And then what final words would you like to share with the audience today?
Oh, another really great question. Um, so my final parting thought is the world needs you.
Mm,
The world needs your voice. And there's one person on the other side of the computer screen, the other side of the phone screen, or the other side of the Zoom screen that needs to hear your message. So don't
mhm,
stop.
mhm.
Share your message. Share your message with the world and go out there and impact and change the world because together we can change the world, one person and one business at a time.
Love that. Well, thank you so much, Sid, again for coming on. This has been great. Definitely, I'm thinking having you back because, as the new year approaches, everybody has goals.
Mhm.
Everybody's got those New Year's resolutions. So, as a high performance coach, you'd be a great person to come back on and give us some more insight about that. So,
I would love that. Thank you.
awesome. Well, thank you so much, you guys, for watching. If you have any questions for Sid, feel free to follow him on LinkedIn or join the club that he said. If you have any comments that you just are dying to share, please put them in the comments and we'll make sure that he gets those as well. But in the meantime, we want to thank you guys for spending time with us today. And remember that you matter, your story matters. So go share it with the world. Bye for now.